here and a Ziploc of bags and it up here. And
My meetings of the Borough Council order. For the all state of the moment,
I pledge allegiance
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job with that.
Walter, Ford, Frank,
here.
Harry, Francis,
Here.
Lancaster,
Here.
Noel,
Here.
Smith, Steelman, here, eight present.
thank you. Are there any additions or changes that we have? Say that we will have an executive session at the end. And we'll have to vote on it. You have in your packet the minutes of the May meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion about the minutes? Seeing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Similarly, you have minutes of the May work session. Is there a motion to approve those?
second,
Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. You also have the April financial
Report.
Approve that. You beat her. There any discussion of the financial
Report.
Seeing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Motion carries. Okay, now we come to time for public comment. If you would like to address the council, please come to the podium. We state your name and address. And limit yourself to 3 minutes, please.
Dave Fairman, 130 Stormer Road, also numerous properties within the Indiana Borough. I'm here to talk about the Act 537 plan that was recently advertised in the paper. I cannot sit idle without voicing my concerns. Indiana Borough and White Township entered into a corrective action plan with the Department of Environmental Protection over 3 years ago. The one and only reason complaints from one resident, Indiana Borough resident. Consequently, that issue was resolved with minimal cost to residents of Indiana Borough. One complainant out of your thousands of customers. The wastewater treatment plant has not experienced a single violation since the plant was upgraded over 20 years ago. The corrective action plan required smoke testing, flow monitoring, and televising of the marshfront interceptor and collection lines. Less than 1/2 of the smoke testing within the marshfront basin was completed. Also, it was noted and documented that numerous violations existed just in the portion that was smoke tested. Those numerous violations still need corrected today, such as visible smoke rising from the entire front lawn where a sewer lateral crossed to the residents. Smoke spewing out of a stormwater catch basin, which clearly depicts stormwater entering this separate sanitary system. In addition to the above, why has the remainder of marshfront interceptor not been smoke tested? Flow monitoring was completed. Has any member of staff or council viewed the flow metering numbers? The data that was paid for by ratepayer dollars to determine what portion of the system where deficiencies exist. That data also points to flow coming into the borough as numerous locations were monitored and recorded. That data is crucial in determining a strategic plan for televising the sewer system. The televising of the sewer system was not implemented, and this is critical procedure in determining exact locations of any deficiencies within the system. The obligations and requirements of the corrective action plan was agreed to in writing by council and has not been fulfilled. Instead, a decision was made to enact the 537 plan, a project of up to $58 million, which will more than double our sewer rates without exploring all the options. I am not convinced this project will eliminate I&I from the system. Yes, the engineers guided you in this direction. They are seeing financial gain from a project of this magnitude. The best solution may be finish smoke testing, analyze the flow reports, televise where necessary, so the ratepayers are not burdened with steep rate increases. This is your duty and responsibility as an elected council members.
I'm interested though.
Current rates are going to go up. Contractual obligations. The closing of the landfill is going to increase your rates also because you got to haul sludge 25-mile one direction. Thank you for your time.
It's 1021 Church Street. No. Today I stand before you to address two pressing issues that affect us all: road quality and police quality. Both of these factors play crucial roles in our daily lives, impacting our safety, convenience, and overall well-being. Unfortunately, they have also become sources of frustration and concern for many of us. Let me take a few moments to reflect on these matters and voice our complaints. Firstly, let's discuss the deplorable state of our roads. It appears as though driving on our town streets has become an obstacle course filled with potholes, cracks, and uneven surfaces. These treacherous conditions not only cause damage to our vehicles, but also pose a significant threat to our safety. It is disheartening to witness the deterioration of our infrastructure while our hard-earned tax dollars seem to disappear into the abyss. The constant need for repairs and maintenance further disrupts our daily routines, as roadwork seems to occur without warning or proper coordination, causing unnecessary delays and inconvenience. As if the state of our roads wasn't distressing enough, the quality of our police force also leaves much to be desired. While we acknowledge and appreciate the often dangerous and difficult job that our law enforcement officers undertake, it is disheartening to witness instances of misconduct, abuse of power, and a lack of accountability. The erosion of public trust in our police force is a matter of great concern. The relationship between the police and the communities they serve should be one built on mutual respect, transparency, and a shared commitment to keeping our streets safe. However, we find ourselves questioning whether our rights and freedoms are adequately protected when stories of abuse of power and discriminatory practices dominate the headlines. It is imperative that we address these issues and work towards a system that promotes justice, equality, and fair treatment for all. The police may enforce the law, but they are not above it. In conclusion, the deteriorating road quality and the decline in police quality are two significant challenges we face as a community. It is essential for us to voice our concerns and demand action from those in positions of authority, because we deserve safe, well-maintained roads that facilitate our daily lives and a police force that upholds the highest standards of professionalism, integrity, and respect. By coming together and speaking out, we can strive for the improvements we so desperately need. I demand accountability and work towards building a better future for ourselves and future generations of Indiana Borough. Thank you.
Philadelphia Street. I'm basically was going to be here to congratulate and applaud the four council persons that voted against a certain banner being put on a flagpole out here. If you're going to run community things like that, you need to put another flagpole out here. But with all these things going on here, what Dave has just said and what this gentleman said about the streets leads right into what my complaint is, because I understand we're going to have the Gerald Smith, Peter Broad bicycle path down the alley to nowhere again. That's what I read, and that's how much of the Indiana Borough tax money is that going to cost? How much did the last one cost for that cute little thing over there in the green lines on the street? And how many thousands of dollars has that brought to this town, as it was stated by certain council people? How many hundreds of people have ridden their bike up here? I've counted 6 in the last 6 months. Most people go down there, that nice parking place down by the old Robert Shaw, park their car and get on the trail and go from there instead of riding all through these back streets. That new trail, the Smith Broad Street, put a nice little street sign up there. How do I go about getting figures of how much borough money was spent on that first project? Is there a way to do that? In reported that IUP and the Borough and
Grants. They're to get grants.
pay anything out of the tax dollars for that shanty thing over there and all that?
You use tax dollars to dig it up? Church Street.
Where that, whatever it is over there. He's talking about a different thing.
An answer period.
Taxpayers' dollars paid for that.
Isn't there money in the future? Expected.
So eventually the whole state paid for it.
Borough and the county and everybody responsible for a portion in IUP?
Taxes to help pay for that.
You use my tax dollars.
Isn't there gonna be some responsibility that filters out, or is that, am I incorrect on that? Because I thought, wow, sorry, sir. I think it should be. How was that important?
I'm going off Open Lane, Indiana, PA. That's what I was formerly. My new name is Common Sense. My pronouns are he, him, she, they, this, that, whatever. And I live here, there, wherever. That's how I would like addressed. Common sense, because it certainly lacks some in here. And in regards to the Walmart greeter that greeted me over here, the 4-foot greeter, I scrolled through my phone and you'll be happy to know that speaking of grant, maybe you can contact Shapiro. The Pennsylvania House has okayed $100 million for adult mental health services. She could sure use some. Now, on to the flag issue. Which one of you is Tamara? You voted nay to the flag issue. My hat's off to you. As far as the police go, Justin, I'll still say it. I think you run a pretty decent ship here. So for what it's worth, I'm not always up here to condemn people, just those that need to be condemned. You people work for about a year here or so to keep a Dunkin' Donuts out of Indiana. God love you. The word progress, and you call yourselves progressives. You worked hard and diligently to keep a business out of Indiana while you skipped around giddy as schoolgirls to get a flag hung on a pole. Makes all the sense in the world to me. I look at White Township, they're bringing in this restaurant, that restaurant, the Texas Roadhouse, which I love. Whom there says I'm fat, but that's coming from an ugly person. I can do something about it. I can diet. She can't. I used to come in here and say I'd be respectful, but had enough of that too. When you're greeted with that kind of crap, that's the kind of crap you'll get back,
Station we're going to call it. Finish.
Peter. Anyway, anyway, I'm not insulting, I'm factual stating. That's what I was greeted with, and that's why I even caught you outside. I didn't start this. That did. All I did was go over to sign a clipboard. So you need to run her and don't let this cut into my 3 minutes. Now, White Township brings in businesses and okays them while you guys worry about a freaking flag. One flag right there, United States. And if any of you are here are conservatives that did not vote the way Tamara did, shame on you. And I'm not letting the Republicans go either. This is their fault. Because kind of thinking are in here.
No,
That's
you're
great.
not.
You can do
It's
it
3
after the
minutes.
meeting.
Your time's up.
From a skag? Yes, I did.
For the record, Dunkin' Donuts is still coming.
I'm Trina Flam and I'm at 481 Byers Road. This is going to be kind of a warning type thing. Good evening, council members. May God richly bless you. And I want to thank you for your service in the town of Indiana. I just pray that it would be more thoughtful, perhaps. Today, it became very clear to me that I cannot possibly present to you an entire 2,000-year-old manual for abundant life in 3 minutes. So I will suffice to say that your souls may be required of you this very evening. And if you have made decisions for the welfare of many that were good and right and acceptable in the sight of God, then may you rest in peace. I consider that much in the world today is encouraging you to make decisions that are not in line with the will of God. Even government is leading many astray and away from abundant life that is promised us in God's word, the Bible. We must disregard the government when it strays from God's word. We will not stand in judgment before the government, but we are promised to stand before the Lord and be held accountable for the life we lived here on earth, especially when it promotes evil and wrongdoing that the Bible clearly speaks against. There are 613 civil laws in the Bible. I suggest you read it and put it into practice in all your decisions. You can't go wrong. And I want to encourage you for a bit of information. Rick Green, he was a lawyer, once a lawyer, created the patriotacademy.com. Course that he offers called Biblical Citizenship is a well-researched, interesting, enjoyable course how the government even came into being. Everyone would do well to participate and gain knowledge in that area. And let me help you. In case you've become so deceived that you are blinded by the devil's schemes, anything other than male and female that God created is an abomination of the Lord and evil. You as leaders have the opportunity to make this community a place to respect and one known for love and upholding the truth, not following the crowd to eternal destruction and encouraging them to continue down the destructive path. Please let's bring Jesus back to Indiana and realize the spiritual battle that threatens another Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm sure you all understand what that is. So stand up. I'm encouraging you. Stand up. Be strong in the Lord. Any other way leads to death. Thank you.
That is my speech before I realized it was 10 minutes long. So, I'll just like to pick out some. Thank you so much for letting me speak. May I take a moment to ask you all to remember when you were 10 years old? What sort of things did you think about at that age? I'll revisit that in a minute.
Recently, you allowed a drag queen event in the center of town, and many people were unaware of this event. I want to share with you now my concern with your continued support of the LGBTQ community by recently flying the pride flag over the Borough building. And I want to help you understand what it is that you are promoting. Dr. Miriam Grossman is a child psychiatrist with 35 years of counseling children and families. She describes what she has been seeing in her practice as getting more and more bizarre every day. This has led Dr. Grossman to write the book Lost in Trans Nation to help parents navigate what is being taught in our schools. They are teaching children that men can get pregnant, have babies, and breastfeed, and so on. This is the policy of the American Association of Guidance Counselors, School Principals, etc. And it is in their policy to keep this information from parents. This is an ideology, period. It is dangerous rhetoric. Our institutions have become incubators of this movement, and they use hurting, unstable people. However, there are those whose motives is to pervert our Creator's design. They prey on the innocent. Parades celebrating this lifestyle include men riding bicycles naked, and others chant, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children." I want to emphasize that it's the agenda that I'm speaking against. Behind this ideology are individuals who have lost their way. Some may be adults who revel in perversion and prey on others, and some are hurting impressionable children. The LGBTQ agenda does not reflect the views of the majority of this nation. And I want to remind you of something I said before. Every person who contacts their elected official and speaks out represents 1,000 others of the same view. A 2016 study estimated a number of adults that are trans non-binary is 0.6%. Today, it's estimated to 5 to 7%. Despite this sudden increase, it's still a rather small portion of the population. However, the number of trans children is at some estimates up 4,000%. Some even said 5,000%. It's very important on the last page. Thank you so much.
Who's ready to address the Borough Council? Committee reports. Administration.
Two major action plans. The first one is the emergency action plan. I'd like to move to adopt the emergency action plan.
Put it in the packet. Are we ready to vote? But we still have a quorum, I believe. right?
Seven.
One,
You have
two,
seven.
We have seven.
So, is there any discussion of the emergency action plan?
What are we voting on?
Emergency action plan.
To do what? To go forward?
A plan in the policy at the borough. It's just a plan for each department. It doesn't have anything to do with the police. The county recommends that the borough has a plan in place for any emergencies.
And this is
Yeah.
new or amended or?
We've had an old one. It's just an updated one, and we just needed to have it in-house for all the departments. Other than, then we'll work with.
Yeah.
Committee meeting where we discussed this.
I don't recall. You know how people are like that here. No, I don't recall, but sure, go ahead with your vote.
Any other discussion? All in favor of adopting the proposed emergency action plan, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The second motion is to advertise the proposed ordinance establishing chapter 85, which is the Educational Service Agency. This is a motion to advertise.
We have that proposal in your packet. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, moving on then.
We have not had a meeting since our last work session, but, and I'm pretty sure we touched on all the big points. The sidewalk program got another 50 grand that we put towards it, so now totaling 150,000 we're putting towards the sidewalk program. And I think we talked about that last time. Other than that, we were gonna, we still have to address the remainder of the flags for the flag policy, and at the next community development meeting, we're planning on having that list discussed and brought forward.
Thank you. Public safety. You have an action item, I think.
Yeah, we have some action items. We had a pretty quick meeting on June 12th. I'm not gonna go over that since we do have the action items. We have three that I see here. Waymakers Group are requesting the closure of RMC Park on Friday, July 21st from 5:30 to 9 for a summer concert with kid activities. Move to approve the closure of IRMC Park at the request of the Waymakers Group on Friday, July 21st for an event that will take place between 5:30 and 9 p.m.
You have any information on who the Waymakers Group is?
Chief has been in touch with them.
So I have, I can tell you that the contact person is Joe Lombardi, who's the coach of the IEP men's basketball team. Waymakers, I believe, is a group of Christian men or Christian, the Christian prayer group, is that fair to say?
Yeah, from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Yeah.
So we've had conversation regarding the event and I brought it forward to public safety for approval.
And public safety is recommending it. This was approved at public safety. Is there any discussion? Saying aye?
Okay, next one, downtown Indiana is requesting the closure of RMC Park on Thursday, August 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. for a community university meet and greet. Open container waiver has been requested. So the motion is moved to approve the closure of RMC Park at the request of Downtown Indiana Incorporated on Thursday, August 24th for an event that will take place between 5 and 7 p.m. And that was, we discussed that in our public safety. Yeah, this is, they did one last year. It was, they had people from the university up here and they had some part of the pep band and stuff like that.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Next one, Northern Appalachian Folk Festival is requesting the closure of Philadelphia Street between 7th Street and 5th Street and the closure of 6th Street between Gompers and Nixon Avenue, beginning at 10 a.m. on Friday, September 8th, and concluding at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, September 9th, for a folk festival that will include concerts, vendors, workshops, and kid activities. An open container waiver has been requested. The reason this is coming before us is they wanted to have an extra half block closed on 6th Street, if I'm not mistaken. So that makes it different.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. Good. Is there something from Public Works?
We have some motions. I did notice oh, I get to, thanks. I sure prepared, highlighted something. There is we need to make a change in the minutes. It says joint admin meeting. I think that was from last, it just copy and pasted. Yeah. I just noticed that. I was like, was it a joint? No. Okay. We have a few motions and then we can get into the minutes. We have an application for payment. It's on the Nixon Avenue project, Swamp Road, if we're familiar with that. That's what I like to call it, the road in the swamp. Move to approve pay application number 1 to A. Liberoni Incorporated in an amount of $30,423.35 to work on Nixon Avenue paving and drainage improvement project.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries.
Right, the second motion out of the committee, it does need to be seconded. It's moved to approve a resolution to apply for a multimodal transportation fund grant for the Marsh Run Bridge repairs project.
That's we have 10 bridges that we're looking at and we have to repair the ones that are worst. They've been evaluated by PennDOT.
And those are on us to deal with now, so. No, we don't.
Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
News, work at the wastewater treatment plant continues to go well. Obviously, lots of small and large repairs happen on a monthly basis. We're in the middle of doing a variety of paving, whether it's from us, whether it's from other groups, water company, PennDOT. So if you see paving in the borough, it doesn't mean that the borough is necessarily paving or in control of when or what they do. The only thing that we have is we have an ordinance in place that requires them to pave at least half the street if they rip it up. So they can't just do a trench and just pave that trench. And for the most part, folks follow that.
There's also paving that PennDOT is doing on their street.
Issues with the paving overnight. I know a lot of us heard about it, but we were not informed. Apparently, they can put it on their website and that counts as public notice. So checking that PennDOT website daily for updates. We have one thing that we discussed was you're allowed to do some plantings in the right of way, the tree lawn area. Right now, according to our ordinance, you're only allowed grass and trees, and we allow like special permissions for other plantings, but we would like to adjust that so that it's encouraged and there's less special approval. So we were working on a couple really simple, straightforward guidelines for folks who want to plant things other than grass or a tree in their tree lawn.
And you will have a proposal forthcoming.
We're working on simplifying it and not over managing the situation. Is there anything from the committee that you want to point out, Sarah?
I think that's exactly it. We'd like to come out, we'd like to give people some guidelines rather than a straitjacket.
Thank you. Is there anything from the Shade Tree Commission? Last year. Okay. Borough manager.
I'd like to thank Dave Fairman for coming out and bringing up this corrective action plan. It is actually a huge, huge project that the borough has. I know in my close to 2 years as borough manager that we have discussed multiple in committees, met privately with the engineers. So it's not something I think, the rest of the council members, if come to a public works meeting and hear about it, because it has been discussed for at least the 2 years and then probably 3 years prior to that. So it's something, that should be on everybody's radar, should be top priority for one of the borough, because it is a huge, huge project that that we're going to undertake. And some of Dave's points are very well put in here, and we have addressed some of those. And I think but the discussion has been going on and has been going on for years. So please come to Public Works, because, they'll continue. But I appreciate, because I think the residents need to know about this project. So appreciate him bringing it up. No, I want to address the concern of the streets. If you would come to my office, you would see my board. I have lists of streets that I would love to see paved, that I know that need paved. So my goal is to mark one of those streets off, each couple streets off each year. So I get the frustration. I understand your frustration. I think we all have a little bit of frustration when it comes to paving the streets. If we could do them all, we would. But I have a list, and one of these days we'll get to that list, We're checking them off one at a time. But with that being said, too, pension meeting interviews are gonna happen tomorrow. The pension committee will start at 10 o'clock interviewing, candidates for the, how's our pension. Kyle wanted me to mention, he started the solar at the sewer treatment plant is, underway. He's gonna start the application and get some solar, panels down there to help run our sewage, plant. The third round of, the stamp phase two is completed and paid. So we're gonna start phase 3, which is the ordinance for the rewrite of the ordinance. So we're gonna apply for that funding. Building renovation, I was met with the engineer again today. It is a huge project again. We're hoping to bid something out in September. And the good news I have is about Vinegar Hill. I met with Monica Shields. She's actually an IEP grad, and she raised goats. And we got a quote for goats to come in and help clear out Vinegar Hill. And I'm very excited. She was so knowledgeable. Ryan and I met with her and such good information. And it's a perfect project for her goats. You know, she loves the idea. The cost fits right in with our budget. We have the money available under the IRMC, under the ARP funding. I'll bring it more to admin. But I'm excited. I hope, so it's about a 2-week process. They'll be there for about 2 weeks because they would need, fenced off from one side and then we'd move them to the other side. But it's our involvement is very little. We have to, provide them water like every couple days. So, I think it would be a good, to have with like a third Thursday, they would be there. I'm gonna talk to the chief. I don't wanna throw this on them, but you know, safety concern is little. They'll have a fence up there. They're very well, they go all over. Multiple, other municipalities have had them in, Pitt Campus does them. They're very, I mean, they've been everywhere, she said. So this is nothing new. That area is fine. She sees no issues with that area. So I think it will be a great attraction, and it's gonna get those weeds and stuff cleared out, you know?
Leave, or is it just gonna grow back and?
There'll be a plan. We're working on a plan right now. Our parks director is reaching out to landscape and engineers to come up with maybe something after the fact. But to compare this price to what it would take for somebody to come in and dig everything out, you're talking a difference of like $10,000 to $15,000. So, I'm excited about it. Yeah. Yes.
And it's safe and manpower for those who negotiate.
Yeah.
And they go down to the nubs.
It's, you know,
My kids think it's
environmental
cool.
friendly way to get rid of the the weeds and the overgrowth in that area. And that's all I have to report.
I love that idea.
Bring us up to 2.1 officers for the police department. He is a person in high regard and his past employment endeavors. And he began with the police department on July 2nd. So we are fully staffed and we appreciate his willingness and his desire to be here with our police department. He is a native and I think we're going to be going to a couple of committee members of council. So we have 12 to 15 minutes of training program. And that started July 2nd. Call for service, our in-council packet tonight. If there are any questions about having to answer, calls for service for the year or similar to calls for service for last year. And at the same time. And then I'd just like to champion our National Night Out event. National Night Out takes place in Indiana Borough on August 1st. It's an approved special event. It's going to take place in IRMC Park. It will have the Indiana Borough Police Department and all of our first responder partners, police, fire, and EMS, along with service organizations, the District Attorney's Office, the SCI Pine Grove, Indiana County Jail are going to be joining us this year. And we're going to have some fun things in place for the kids. So it is a community-wide event. We'd love to see everyone in the community attend with us. It's an informal opportunity to engage with first responders. Again, not only police from this police department, but also the state police, sheriff's department, IUP police. It's it's been a very positive event in years past. And so that's from 5 PM to 7 PM on Tuesday, August 1st. With that, sir, you can. We encourage adults to come as well. So
Say have vehicles open and they can get into them and such. I take it our comfort dogs will be there also?
well, we'll certainly have one of them.
Yeah, okay,
at
good.
least. Thank you. That's all.
That's all? Are there
It's a
questions?
nice
for the chief?
event. How were we, with the radios? In our last meeting, they were purchased. We heard anything more?
3 minutes.
Okay.
So, waiting for the-
Good news, we finally got the judgment against Patricia Bell. So now we will take the steps to have the sheriff go ahead and try to execute on those. And we'll see what happens with regard to that. That's going to take some time because the sheriff's department will have to put those properties up for sheriff sale, and there's a process that we have to go through. But I can safely say that we have the judgment in hand, so that's very good news. As far as those dilapidated properties go, so hopefully we can get some positive movement on those.
About approximately.
Like 5, I believe. The judge, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, but the judgment's in excess of $500,000. Because of the amounts of fines and things that have accrued over the years, so. Our goal, honestly, our goal is that the properties, either be rehabilitated or be demolished.
So right now, they're slated for sheriff sale.
Well, not yet. We just got our judgment. I just got the judgment today, as a matter of fact. We filed for it a couple weeks ago.
The
We
property's
just
been
got it.
posted, in other words, they don't need to be posted.
No, they will need, the sheriff will need to post them. Yes, they have not been posted yet. We have our judgment. Then we take that to the sheriff, ask him to execute on the judgment, but I gotta wait 30 days from the day of the judgment, so.
I'm just curious if
Yeah.
the amount of money that we're owed, the 500,000, we're willing to take less for that, less than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when they put up
Yeah.
a sheriff sale, is that amount gonna be on the list, or are they
Right.
gonna try and sell them, see what they can get, and then we could say we're okay with that?
We will figure out what we're okay with. Generally speaking, it has to be enough so that it will cover a good chunk of those. And the borough has to find that number where they're happy to have a legitimate purchaser buy them. Because if you're a legitimate purchaser, you're going to come in and you're gonna probably rehabilitate the property. Whereas if you're just somebody that comes in the low bidder, you may just be gobbling up property. And then it sits the same that we have now. So we have to find that number where we're satisfied. I mean, ultimately, the goal for the neighborhoods is those properties are probably going to need to be demolished or significantly rehabbed. So,
Thank you.
okay. But it's a good first step. That's really all I have for the public tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions for the solicitor? Moving on, we do not have a report from IUP tonight. I didn't get one prior to the meeting, and representative is not here. So it's me, and I'm going to be short. I've attended a few meetings on bicycle pedestrian concerns. One thing is done. I saw in the paper, the maps of the trail system leading into downtown are now up on the 8th Street lot. Also, there will be an official reopening on July 22nd with the ride from the railroad, from Trailhead downtown to Hosses.
2nd or 27th? 22nd or 27th?
Water Partnership had its regular meeting at which 2 winners of rain barrels were announced. or chosen, actually. Names were drawn out of the hat, or the, whatever it was. Stay tuned for future rain barrel giveaways. And, that's all I have. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I had a informal meeting with the chamber and talked about a number of items that are coming about in the county and digging into how that can affect the borough. So those are projects I'm working on right now, and I'll certainly get back to you whenever we find out what's happening. But it's kind of interesting to see some of the activity that is about to take place. Don't forget about the fact that, you know, there's going to be couple of tear downs and replacements, so we're gonna work on that too. I have a house behind my house that I'd like to tear down. It's sat this way for way too long. It's wrong, so. And one other thing, talking about the items that you're growing between the sidewalk and the street. There's one example of that on South Sixth Street, and you have to be careful about the public safety of that as far as view is concerned. So that's what I was thinking. Oh, good. Because my neighbor's talking about doing that, and I thought, oh, geez. So anyway, that's all I have. Sorry.
Okay, are there questions for the mayor? Seeing none. Is there any old business to come before us?
Old new business thing. I think Chief Shaw was gonna touch on it, but a couple other people touched on it too. The paving on the Philadelphia Street, which is PennDOT. I think Kyle issued some type of statement on the website. They going from like 9 PM till 3 AM or what's?
8 PM to 6 AM. And that's because that's how they have to bid out the project. Fortunately, they cannot change their hours. They are working with us. We have numerous calls with PennDOT back and forth. They're gonna start down at by the YMCA and work their way up. Other than tonight, starting, then they'll be back at the end of the week, maybe Friday. And then the following week, they'll be back Thursday and Friday, then they'll be done.
Then will be at the end.
So you're looking at probably 3 more days in the borough line, just, you know.
It's literally 3 more nights because they do this at night, correct? And this is their normal standard procedure?
It is for heavy traffic areas, yes. You know, when I talked to them, they, you know, when looking at that traffic flow, to do it during the day would have just been, you know, we would have probably had just as many calls to do it during, you know, complaints if it was done during the day.
You can't drive or you can't sleep. Take your choice.
It's a temporary situation, you know, it will definitely be done next, you know, next week or, you know, or next week on the 20th and 21st.
Not to consult with us when they're going to be working in our residential neighborhoods.
Yeah, they sent out it's like on their website and probably sent out a thing, but yeah.
The fact is, it's a PennDOT road. They're in control of the road and PennDOT is a state agency and we are a borough. So technically, the way a hierarchy occurs in the United States is federal, state, and then borough. So there's really not much we can do.
But we could work with them and I'm sure, you know, again, they have been, they've called multiple times now, informing me, updating me what's going on. They are aware of the situation and the complaints that we had. So maybe next time they'll think twice about the night work and consult with us.
Executive session. So, and we will not.
Into that, the festival and the events that took place. It was nice to have it in our area again.
It's nice to have though. If I were 5 years old, I would have thought they were fantastic.
Josh wants something. Peter, Josh needs something. Josh.
For the purposes of transparency, what is the, what are the topics that will be discussed? Thank you. Thanks, sir.